Lucid Dreamers, what can I say? We've officially completed creative recovery, man. Just finished week 12. This video is dropping really late. I think because it felt like such a thing that this whole process was just ending, and of course, I want to perpetuate it through, and past the end date of the 12 weeks. But at the same time, I've grown so fond of this process, and I know I'll always remember it, you know what I mean? Like, this is such a great chapter of my life. And, in the format that it's in now, the formal, almost, course-like structure of keeping up with the book and et cetera, this chapter of my life is coming to a close, but it definitely has influenced who I am as a person going forward. And I'm so grateful for God. I'm so grateful for who he made me and what he's shown me through the things that he's introduced me to and the people he's put in my life, the art he's put in me, the things he's seen me through. Everything's shaped me, and it's all just bringing me back to him. And I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I think what this book really did a good job of is facilitating that. So I'm so grateful for these past 12 weeks and all of you guys for watching me, my family and my friends who support me in everything. I am an ever-changing human being. At the core of who I am, I pray I follow God's blueprint. But I know, I keep using the metaphor of nature. And nature just is. The wind just blows and the trees just grow and rain just falls. And, you know, it's not thinking too hard. But it means you might wake up one day and it's a windy day because the wind just is blowing. And, maybe it could be raining one second and stop the next because, that's just how it is. And I too will continue to change and evolve over time. I pray that the evolution is just me becoming more me and getting closer to the creator. But yeah, it feels surreal almost that we're coming to an end after so much. And I can tell that I'm already living in all of the lessons. And I know that I won't be doing videos like this much. Like, I won't be talking to you guys the way that I am right now a lot after this. Maybe I just want to let the music talk. I just want to let the art talk. Any creative venture that I go into, any interview that I do where people really want to pick my brain and it's like a two-way conversation, I'd really love to do more of those. So yeah, thank you. This is the final one. Let's get into it. I thought I wasn't gonna have a lot to say, again, as always, but let's go. So week 12, recovering a sense of faith. In this final week, we acknowledge the inherently mysterious spiritual heart of creativity. We address the fact that creativity requires receptivity and profound trust, capacities we have developed through our work in this course. We set our creative aims and take a special look at last-minute sabotage. We renew our commitment to the use of the tools. Before we get into the chapters properly, I just thought about like a funny thing I could feel is that as it was ending, I think, part of the reason why it also took me a while is because, one, I didn't want it to end. Two, I felt this sinking feeling of like, oh no. And I think the whole day I've just been trying to figure out like, where is this coming from over the past couple of days? But I think, I think it's just a case of you have to be prepared to let go of your old life to live the one, that you're heading towards, that you're growing into, that is supposed to be yours. And that can be a really scary thing. And, every day feels like a fight sometimes, a lot of the time. And I guess, yeah, it's just about having faith. It's just about having faith and stepping forward like that. Not everybody will understand. Not everybody will understand, but I make so many sacrifices, and I spend so much time doing so many things, and that's the dialogue that goes on in my head. And those are the excuses that I use to not be me. But I think a big takeaway is have faith that he will do it. It's not all on my shoulders. And I think a great thing my mom reminded me like last week, and I like it was so amazing the way she reminded me about this. He sent me a Bible verse, and the message was, God doesn't give you everything you ask for. He gives you everything he's promised you. And I just like that is just such a, it's so beautiful. Like that's such a beautiful thing. And it, like I couldn't help but feel so much joy in my heart for that, because he is limitless. My dreams are limited. You know what I mean? I'm such a big dreamer, but my dreams are limited. But just having faith that he will give us everything that he's promised us, and all I have to do is step out in faith. So I pray that every single step I take is a step in faith, whether implicit or explicit, whether big or small, in my everyday living, in my everyday like being. And I guess that covers like trusting, you know. I love this line that just caught my eye. The first part of this chapter, trusting, she goes, our truest dream for ourselves is always God's will for us. There's a lot of things that I want. There's a lot of things that I ask God for. But the truest things that are in my heart, and he knows my heart, are those things that he's promised. And all I need to do is step out. And it might not look the way that I want it to look, but it's always going to be the best thing. And so, yeah, after that, she spoke about mystery, how mystery is at the heart of creativity. And we got to accept that it comes with the creativity. You know what I mean? Like, not trying to force a narrative or the art looking a certain way, allowing ourselves to play with our imagination, to actually be creative, to remember our creative side. And then she spoke about something really, really profound, which I have always spoken about too with people in my life. And she calls it the test, right? But I always tell people that when you ask God for something, the response you get when you ask God for something big, for something you really want, the response you get is a test to see if you will take that step of faith towards that thing that you're asking for. God has it ready for you. You know what I mean? He has it ready for you. He's going, okay, yeah, cool. Just step out in faith. And then he's got it. It's happened so many times in my life. It happened this past week. Like, as soon as I said, okay, bet, let's get back to making music, my laptop software went all over the place. Like, I couldn't use my sound card anymore and all these different things. And it's something that before had caused like a 4 month delay in me making music or something like that, like a year ago. But I figured it out in like 30 minutes. Whereas I had to take my laptop to like the shop before and try to figure this out and whatever. I don't know. But now like I just fixed it in 30 minutes, bro. Like I want this. And I see this happening all the time. And it's who I am. So why not just be that, bruh? Why not just be that? And our lives are always gonna be tested. And the test doesn't always mean you win the way you think a win is supposed to be. But it's always about stepping out in faith and trusting that God has got you. So as I end this, man, as I end this series, I'm so filled with joy and gratitude and faith about who I am and who I serve and where I'm going. And I just hope and trust that it will reflect in everything that I do going forward in my life, in my art, in how I speak, in how I carry myself. And I hope that whoever watches this takes away even just one thing that sparks their journey or is the missing piece in the puzzle for what they've been dealing with, or because that's what I want to do with my art. I want to be a living testimony of of God, of faith. And I don't want to just have to speak about it. I want my life to reflect that in everything that I do. And so I hope whoever watches this, and I really hope it reaches the people that it needs to reach. Just keep moving forward, keep moving in faith, even if, for you, it's not directly about painting or writing or making a song or whatever. Like, this life is art, or as I like to say, this life is a dream, and we are all lucid dreamers. So just dream and have fun with it. But until then, I'm working on new music. I hope to 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 drop something sooner than later. I'm working at it so that, we can continue this conversation in a different way. But until then, bless your souls. I appreciate you. Peace.